So I've done all the cutting. I'll give you all the measurements. I will also put together a scoring and cutting guide for all these pages, which are going to go and form a book. So if you're following along either here or on YouTube, you will be able to make the whole book. So the first thing to do is to create your page. So 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, 7.5 by 7.5, stuck down. Easy. Okay, so we're going to work on one side at a time. So the first side we're going to work on is the simple waterfall. So for this, just lots and lots of people watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. For this, you need a piece of, got the wrong one. That's the one I want, not that one. It's going to be a good day. You need one piece of card, which is 3.5 by 10. And then you need 5 pieces of card at 3.5 by 3.5. You then need a small strip. Now, the precise measurements for this aren't important, but it's got to be about 2 inches wider, so about 5.5 by about an inch. I think this is slightly less than an inch. This is just the mechanism. You will then need 5 pieces of patterned paper at 3.25 by 3.25. And you will need 4 pieces, and that's if you're going to do the cream card on the back, that's absolutely up to you, but 4 pieces of cream card at 3.25 by 2 3/4. So 3.5 by 10, 5 at 3.5 by 3.5, 5 at 3.25 by 3.25, 4 at 3.25 by 2 3/4. And as I say, I will make a scoring and cutting guide for the whole book. So the first thing you're going to do, and I've done this already, is I've gone round the edges of all my papers with my ink, and then I've stuck 4 of them on, and I've stuck the 4 pieces of card. The important thing about the card is it needs to go at the bottom. So this bit at the top is what you will stick on. So make sure that your cream card goes at the bottom. Right. So now I need my scoreboard. Get my scoreboard out. And I'm going to score 5 times at 1/2 an inch intervals. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. So this is exactly the same as you would make a normal waterfall. And then I'm going to fold all 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to burnish them all to help it go flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll notice that I only decorated 4 of my 5 3.5 by 3.5, and that was very deliberate. It wasn't just to show you, it is absolutely deliberate. So you're going to put some glue. So you fold the whole of your 5 creases down towards yourself, and you're going to put some glue just on that bottom one. So on this one, you fold the 5 creases down, and we're going to pop that one onto there like that. And I'm going to just give it a bit of a burnish just to make sure it's well stuck down. And this is where this little piece comes in. So you're going to slide it underneath the whole thing so that you'll have a band at the back. It's then going to fold over this flap that you've just stuck on. It's not going to be a tight crease because you want it to be able to move. So you're just folding it into place, and then just put some glue on here, but don't take it right up to the crease so that it's got slidey room. I'm sure that's a word, slidey room. Okay, so we're going to pop that on that side and this on this side, like so. So we're just going to let that dry for a second, and that's your mechanism. Okay, so that should roll. So then we need to cover these two bits. So we're going to use our fifth 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 to cover that with, and I've already gone round the outside with my ink pad. So that one is going to go onto there, like so, and then you're going to put some glue on the next 1/2 inch, like so, and you're going to put your next one on. Try and choose a nice one for your top. I'm thinking I'm going to put that as my top one. And then unfortunately the turtle's head got cut off. Poor turtle, but never mind, I couldn't do anything about that. So then that one goes like that. And then this one. And what I should be doing, and I'm not doing, is just checking, just checking that I'm not putting it cream side. Okay, so you're sticking down the side that hasn't got the cream on it. So put the glue down, and then side without the cream, top without the cream goes on, and you're just going to work your way up to the top, like so. So this one's going to go onto there, like that. That one's not quite straight, so I'm just going to put it straight. And that is literally all you need to do for the first part. And I would normally leave a little bit longer to make sure they're all stuck, but you can see how that rolls really nicely. So we're just going to put that to one side. So now we're going to do the second one. Now for this, I'm going to suggest that you keep it at the full A4 in length initially, but it's 3 1/2 inches wide, so it's exactly the same as the other one, except that I've kept it at A4 because I want to try and get it as near as I can to the same size. You will also need 5, exactly the same as last time, 5 pieces of card at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So exactly the same as last time. Here is where it changes. Your patterned paper this time is 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. So it's the size that your cream was on the other one. 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. Let's start that one again, shall we? 3 1/4 to go on your 3 1/2, 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. And you will want 5 of those. Your cream, of which you will want 5 this time, is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So you're reversing these two. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, but you'll want 5 this time. 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, and you'll need 5 again. Okay. And I deliberately haven't stuck these on because I want to show you how to do that. So we're going to do the same thing as we did before, only this time, and I worked this out purely because I didn't feel I'd done it right the first time. I'm going to make the first one 1 inch, and then you're going to do 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2. So the first one is 1 inch, and you want 6 score lines altogether. So 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2. Okay. Put that away. And we're going to fold that 1 inch one back. So. And then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to fold the others. Okay. And this time, we're going to keep it flat. So last time we folded that over, this time we're not. We're keeping it flat. Okay. And we're just going to tuck that big 1 inch one out of the way. So we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stick these on. So exactly the same as before, except this is now flat. And this 1 inch one is tucked behind. So we're going to put that onto there. Then the next one. Now when you get the hang of this, I think you can put the papers on before you start. But I don't feel confident about getting them up the right way at the moment. So that's the next one. That looks horribly unstraight. So what have I done? Oh, I can see what I've done. I haven't got that one straight. So I'm just going to straighten that one up and then straighten that one up. Okay. And then the next one. Oops. Like so. So. I was cutting these in a bit of a rush this morning, so they're not absolutely straight, that's why. And then this one. Like so. And then finally, this one. Like so. Okay, I'm just going to make sure they're all stuck down before I do anything else. Like that. Oh, good grief. Just make sure they're all stuck down. Now I'm going to lift it up and fold it back. So lift it up and fold it back. Okay, so you've got your long bit here and you've got these here. And I'm just going to fold that back in the other direction. So this bit at the back, I'm just going to fold it back out the way at the moment. Okay, like that. So on this one, I'm going to put the first of my pattern papers. I've got the head of the turtle on this one. So again, I have gone round them with the ink. I'm running out of glue. Okay, so that one's going to go on there. Then I'm going to bring that one back. I'm going to put a cream. Oops, onto here. And quite like that fish. I'm going to put that fish onto there. Like so. Take that one back. Put the cream on this side. And my patterned paper, which that way up on there. Definitely running out of ink and glue. Fortunately, I knew that was going to happen, and I've got another glue here. That one goes on there. Put that one down. This one goes on here. So this one goes on here. Oops. Like so. Then the last cream one goes there. I think I need another piece of patterned paper. No, I don't. Sorry, just having a bit of a funny moment then. That goes there, and this one goes there. That's it, I needed another piece of white or cream. That goes on there. And then finally, that goes there. And you're thinking, that doesn't look like it's going to match up. Okay, because it's now back to front. So you're going to lift these back up, flip them back over, and that is the right way up. Okay. At the back here, you've got this tab. Really important. So I'm now going to put the two together so that I can see where I want to cut this off. And this is why I say I would not be inclined to cut it off until you have got the first one done. So it needs to cut off there. So I'm just going to cut that down to size, because you want them to be the same length. So now you've got your two reverse waterfalls. That's the word I'm looking for. So just going to have a quick drink, keep my brain going. Now I've got here 2 strips of paper, patterned paper at 3.5, but I've kept them at 8, so these are from the 8, so that I can measure up and make sure that I've got the right size. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm using my caterpillar, so I don't have to worry about which size I cut it on, because it won't leave a mark. So I'm just going to cut this one to size. So that one will go on there. I just need to ink that new cut. Everything else is inked. So I'll just put some ink on there. So this is going to go onto here like so. So I really hope this has made some sense so far. It took my brain quite a long time to work out how to do this one, but that's because I've got that sort of slightly muddly brain that struggles with that. And then with this one, we're just going to put a piece on here. So again, I'm going to turn it up the other way and mark it and then cut it. Oops. Okay. So that's going to fit nice and neatly there. Just ink that edge and then put some glue on this. And in my usual fashion, I seem to have just cluttered up what was a nice clear space. Okay, so that's going to go on to there like so. So that one's going to come that way. This one is going to come this way. Okay, so you're now ready to stick them onto your page. Now, I suggest you leave a gap between them. When I did the prototype for this, I didn't leave a big enough gap. Okay, and it doesn't matter if they don't meet exactly in terms of the length. So I'm going to take them to the top of the page like so, and I'm going to stick this one using this band that we wrapped around when we did this, and only with the band, not with anything else. So I'm going to stick this one on first, take it reasonably close to the edge and to the top and the bottom. I'm just going to make sure that's well stuck down. This one you're going to stick with this. So this is your 1 inch one. So again, you need to make sure that the glue only goes on that 1 inch there. And then I'm going to put that into place and stick that down. You then need a piece of card at 7 3/4 by 4, and what you're going to do is just put a score line at 2 inches. Score line at 2 inches. And you're going to fold that in half. Like that, and like that. And then one of these, so again, I'm just looking at which way up it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go that way up, that's it. So with the fold at the bottom, you're going to stick this onto here. So with the fold at the bottom, you're going to stick this onto there, like that. So when you lift this and you pull, I think that's just because there's a little bit of glue on that, and then it just goes back up like so. It was right, it was absolutely right. And then we're going to put a piece of decorative paper on there. So this is 7.5 by 1 3/4. So we're going to have one piece. Oh, see, once I start making mistakes, I make loads of mistakes. One thing you want to do before you do that is put a magnet in. So I'm going to put a magnet in here, like so. A little bit of tape over the top. Like that. You will make that much smoother than I have because I'm working quickly. One on there, like that. Little bit of tape over the top. Gently take the top off so that it's not sticking to there or there. Push it down into place, and then a little bit of tape over the top of that. That just smooths and holds that magnet tight. So I'm just going to put a little bit more glue onto this one. Most of it's fine, but I'll just double it up a little bit. That's going to go onto there, like so. This one is going to go, oops, onto there, like so. And this one is going to go onto here. Like so. Okay. So now we can lift that back and pull. Yes, that is just getting slightly stuck onto that, and that's the only reason that's coming up like that. It wasn't anything to do with the way I was sticking it down. It was, yeah, there's a bit of glue on there as well. Okay, and then we can push it back up and down and up and down and up and down, and that's great fun. Okay, so what the other thing that I did was I got one of the pieces of ephemera. So let's have a look. What did we have? We could have that. That's quite nice. Let's look. What else have we got here that we could use? We could have Ride the Wave. That might be quite nice, mightn't it? Ride the Wave, because it looks like it's riding the wave. So I think I might put that one on. So make sure you only put glue on there, like so, and then we just do it again for fun. Okay, so that is all ready to go into my book when we make it. And that was the challenge of the double waterfall, or the double reverse waterfall.